Hello and welcome to the Mariana Dalto Show, the podcast where small business owners share their stories, insights, and strategies for success. Today, I have an amazing guest. I'm excited about the conversation we're going to have today. His name is Scott Schilling. He brings over 40 years of experience in coaching, sales, marketing, and training. He has positively impacted hundreds of thousands of individuals worldwide. Scott focuses on your growth, helping your building your awareness, sharpen skills, and elevate your mindset. His keynotes are powerful, actionable, and designed to address the challenges you face today. He has these presentations that have been helping a lot of businesses, and it's about embracing insights that transforms your life and businesses. So welcome, Scott, to the show. I'm super excited to have you.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so first, can you tell us a little bit about your journey in sales and marketing? How did you all begin your career here?
Yeah, I, like many people, started in corporate America, and my dad worked for the same company for 46 years, from the time he was 17 till he was 63. So I thought, well, that's what you do, right? You work for somebody. And I was very blessed, and I rocketed to the top of that organization. I was the youngest national sales trainer in company history, national sales manager in company history, yes, youngest divisional manager in company history. And after about 12 years, I had reached the top in the field, and it was like, where do you go from there? And I made the decision to go and pursue helping other people through consulting, through taking the great information that I had learned and done it. So I've seen it from both the corporate side and also the individual side. And then I did a lot of consulting for a number of years. And I thought, I could help even more people if I would become a professional speaker. I mean, training is my love. And people say, well, speaking and training is the same thing. They're really not. Speaking is, hey, you're a rock star. Hey, good night, Chicago. You walk off the stage. Where training, you have this personal engagement with people that potentially lasts a lifetime. So I have moved from corporate and what I learned there to consulting to doing, over 3,000 live events. I've shared the stage with every name you know. You may or may not know mine, but you certainly know theirs. And it was an honor to be able to do that. That's why I've probably had 1 million people in chairs in front of me over my career. Very exciting.
And did you know that that public speaking was going to be one of the things that was going to fulfill you in your career as well, like now in this new journey?
You know, I don't know that I knew that back then, but my dad was in Toastmasters.
Mm.
And so I used to watch him practice in front of a mirror. And he used to encourage people to support the United Way. He used to go out and speak in behalf of the United Way. And I always respected him for that. But I also never understood why he did it and didn't get paid. Why would you give up that much time to do something like that? Well, that was his role in volunteering. So my first book has got 21 charities tied to it because it was my way of volunteering and supporting that. But then when as a sales trainer, you're in front of rooms. And so you see the action, right? You see the flash in people's eyes when you've said something that you know is going to improve their life for the rest of their life. And man, it just feels so good. And so that became more fun. And then when I had the opportunity to speak on as many stages as I did, it was just another opportunity to help people improve their life. And that's what becomes so fulfilling.
Yes, it's nice to see the audience and see when they are getting the aha moment when you're speaking and you're really giving them the right information that they needed to hear at that moment, right? You can see in their eyes.
Yeah, you could, like, I describe it as a flash in their eyes. It's just oh my goodness, is that going to make a difference? Actually, I was at a networking event a couple of weeks ago, and there were like 100 people there, and I was kind of standing towards the outside of it, and a woman walked in, and she looked and she goes, "I'm already overwhelmed. I don't even know where to start." And so I looked at her and I smiled. She goes, "Why are you smiling at me?" I said, "I was just answering your question." She goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "You asked, where do you start? You start with a smile. And now you asked me a question, and then I answered your question. They called that a conversation. And that's where you go from." And she goes, "You're really good at this." I said, "Yes, I am. Thank you very much."
So, what inspired you to focus on creating authentic relationships in your career? I think that's one of the topics that we're going to talk about today. And I wanted to start first with the inspiration and, how did you get started with that?
Well, I think the reality is, it, I mean, let's break it down to the simplistic. People do business with people.
Agreed.
You will always have people in your life. They will always be there. And so the reality is, you might as well make those relationships as authentic and as high a quality as you possibly can. So that comes with integrity and honesty and alignment of core values and all those different things. And so what you find when you create authentic relationships, these are relationships that last a lifetime. And, once you have established them, really almost don't take that much nurturing to keep them going. You've got such a strong and authentic relationship with somebody, you could not speak to them for 6 or 7 years and then pick up the phone and it's like it was yesterday. Well, that's because of the authenticity. It's because of the trust that's involved. It's because of the integrity behind it. And that's why I think it's so important to create authentic relationships.
I so I agree with that 100%, but I also wanted to add something to it. So, I'm from Argentina. I grew up and lived there for the first 27 years after I moved to the US. And I have still my high school friends. We're still friends, and we don't talk to each other
Right.
like every day or anything like that. And they live all in Argentina. But every time that I go, every year or every 2, 3 years, it's like nothing happened. Like we seeing
Right.
each other every day. So I agree 100% with you that if those are authentic relationships, you don't lose them, right? They are
No,
for you forever.
I'm a strong believer that you create relationships way ahead of ever needing to have that relationship, which
Interesting.
what that means is that create relationships just because. Be kind to people, be nice to people, learn about people, invest in them, learn about their world, and maybe you'll interact again and maybe you won't. But either way, you've put some positive energy into the planet and into other
Hmm.
people. You've helped lift them up, whether you even know it or not.
Yeah. On the other hand, and I noticed when you're growing in your career and in your business, you build new relationships and you also grow as a person. So sometimes you change, and some relationships might not fit in your new way of living and doing. And then, so I'm still like in that process where I'm still like, holding on to my old friendships and relationships, but it has happened. And I talk to other people where they face that, where like, well, some relationships are no longer part of my life anymore. And that's weird. It feels like sometimes. What do you think about that?
Well, I agree with you. And can I give you a little coaching point on that?
Yes.
So one of the things you can say is, you know what? This is not against you. This is for me. I am, I have got a focus on where I am going in life, and I've chosen a direction that is not the same direction as yours. But it's not, yours isn't wrong.
No,
Yours
no,
is
right.
yours.
Hmm.
Mine is mine. So it's not against you. It's for me. And it
Yeah,
allows,
you don't do that on purpose. Organically, you start shifting and you start
right.
connecting with other people because you're in a different, like you're growing and you're going somewhere else, right? So, it's not a bad thing. It's just growing.
Well, that's just it. And so that's a way of being able to say it to somebody without them taking offense to the fact that you've made the decision to grow. And uh, it would be like saying, well, I went to school and all of a sudden I found a new passion, but I'm not going to pursue the passion because you're not going to pursue it. Well, it's your passion. It's not their passion. They wouldn't pursue it. I mean, if you said, come with me, they're like, no, no big deal. I don't want to, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got to follow your heart. And this is again, authenticity in relationships is not only with them, but it's also with you. You've got to be the real you. If you've got a greater desire to do more, my desire is to share messages with over 1 billion people on the planet and positively impact their lives. Not everybody has that same mission. That's okay. Do what you want to do. This is what I want to do. And and so it takes different efforts and different things. One is not better than another. It's just different. I'm no
Right.
better than anybody else. I've just made a decision that I want to positively impact as many lives as I possibly can while I'm here.
Yeah, you find your calling, what drives you, what motivates you to keep moving forward in your life, and everyone has its own way of, enjoying their lives, right? So what are the biggest challenges people face when building authentic relationships in business? What do you feel like is the biggest challenges they?
Well, I think one of the things is in order to be authentic, one of the first things you have to do is be vulnerable.
Mhm.
And that's a
That's hard for people though.
well, that's what I was going to say.
For everyone, not just
I
for
was trying to
everyone.
I was trying to find the right word. Yeah, that can be
But it's true. I agree with you.
it can be hard for people. But when you're vulnerable and you let people in, I I don't think relationships are an intellectual or tactical process. I think they're a relational, heartfelt, strategic process. So, it's much like love. Right. You have to drop into your heart and you have to become vulnerable to experience the depths that are available to you. And vulnerability sometimes people might take advantage of. And that's a shame, but
Mhm.
you'll come through it. You're still living, you learn something, you've got some more expertise and more wisdom, and it's all part of growth.
Yep, agreed. So if you had to offer one actionable tip to the audience on fostering authentic relationship, what would it be?
Uh, Start.
Mm-hmm.
Starter. It's much like that woman that walked into the networking. I smiled at her, and she said, "Why are you smiling?" And I said, "Well, because I answer your question, but the other reason is because I can." Right? I like people. I You have to genuinely like people. And so I like to get to know people. I like to be of service to people. I come from the Ziglar camp. Zig Ziglar wrote in See You at the Top a quote that forever changed my life. You can have everything in life you want when you help enough other people get what they want.
Mm-hmm.
That became my life mantra, my creed, whether it be personally or professionally. So I have a curiosity to learn about people, to see if there's something I can do to be of service to them. Now, am I able to serve everybody I meet? No, other than show them some kindness, say some nice things about them, do some things like that. Is every relationship I create the longest and life lasting? No, but are many? Yes. And the only way you get some is to start. You
Mm-hmm.
you have to you kind of have to have a desire and a life is supposed to be fun. I'm a knucklehead. I just like to goof off and have fun and say silly things and people look at me and go, "Well, aren't you more proper than that?" And I said, "Well, there's some days I am. I guess today's
It
not
depends
that
on the day.
day." I guess it's not today.
That's good. That's good. I mean, people like fun too. People like to be around people who are fun, who are engaging, and
Yeah.
and not just being serious all the time, right?
Exactly. one of the things I say in a lot of my talks, if you're happy, tell your face, smile, have a
Yeah.
good time. It's not that hard. People, it was funny, not long ago, I was talking to some, and I hadn't talked to them in like 8 years. And they said, it's so good to be on Zoom with you. Again, it's been like 8 years. And I said, yeah. And they said, you know what I remember is you smile. You just have fun. And I said, well, isn't that what it's all about? Who wants to be a gloomy Gus and walk around and frown and pout and be miserable all your life? Now, does that mean I don't have challenges in my life? Of course I've got,
Everyone does. We're human.
everybody does. But you don't have to, bring a dark cloud into a bright sunny day. You know, why
Yeah.
not try to add some positivity along the way?
Yeah. And you're more approachable when you're smiling. People feel like, okay, I can talk to that person. You're not intimidating, mostly if you're going to networking events or conferences or whatever. And if you have a smile, you're inviting people to talk to you or vice versa, right?
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things I say in my trainings is, if nothing else, when you smile at somebody, they'll wonder what the hell you're up to.
Yeah. Why are you so happy? What's
Why are you
happening
so,
to you?
what's wrong with you? And so again, I mean, I think a big part of it is enjoy life. You've been put here to enjoy your life, to expand your experiences, to positively impact those around you. Why wouldn't you do as much of that as you possibly can? My frustration, I actually had this in a call earlier today. I said, my frustration is I want to touch more people positively. And I get frustrated when I don't. And sometimes I have to realize the world is a big place. If I impact one today, while I would prefer more, one is pretty dang good. If I did that
Good.
every day, life would be good.
Yes, yes. So how authenticity drives sales outcomes in this today fast business environment? Because it's crazy, right? People are trying to increase their sales in their businesses. You need to be authentic, but it's like people sometimes struggles balancing like the relationship and trying to get things done and so forth.
I actually think it's far more important today than it's ever been. And let me share my reasoning for that. Is we have been through a period of time where disinformation and telling mistruths has become a commonplace and somewhat accepted. And the bottom line is people do business with those they know, like, and trust.
Yes.
Without trust, there is no such thing as a business transaction being done. Period. End of conversation. So, if everything centers around the trust you achieve, and we've been through a period of time where people are not trusting of news sources, media, posts, blah, 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 right? Pick your pick the thing you don't trust. To grow your business, what do you have to have? Trust. Well, trust comes through authenticity in the relationship. So first they have to know you. That's why you smile. Hey, look,
Mm-hmm.
this is a friendly person. Then they have to like you. Well, because they're friendly, I'm going to talk to them and learn more about them. Well, gosh, what they shared with me makes a whole lot of sense and they seem trustworthy. I'm going to share some trust with them. And then that grows over time. Trust is hard to earn, but it's easily lost. And so the reason for authentic relationships is because it allows trust to build naturally over time. Trust is
Mm-hmm.
built by doing one trustworthy action after another, after another, after another. And finally, you don't have to talk to somebody for 8 years because you built so much trust 8 years ago that they go, well, he sure as heck isn't going to break it now because it's been built. So again, I think it's even more critical in this day and age if you want to grow your business because things are getting too impersonal. AI is a wonderful tool. AI will never have empathy. AI
Nope.
will never have emotion. AI will never create an authentic relationship. It'll create a relationship. It won't create an authentic relationship. And so you can use the tool to a level as long as you don't violate trust on the way. So
Hmm.
again, I think trust and authentic relationships are more important today than they've ever been.
Yeah, even going back to the comment on AI, like you can use it as a tool, but you still need to, this concept of human in the loop. You gotta leverage your own personality in whatever you're using, with AI. Like you can't just use that, and
Yeah.
your personality, your own self have to come through in the work that you're doing with the tool, with the AI tool. So, and that's
Well, that,
where it comes through, like your authenticity. It's you, and not like the AI bringing the content to you, right?
that's why you kind of got to be a little bit of a knucklehead from some time to time and have a little fun along the way. It's like that woman that was at that networking event. I then asked her, "What do you do for a living?" She said, "I'm a financial planner." What a shame. You've got 100 people that you could be talking to potentially serve them through your financial planning, and yet you don't know how to talk to them. And that's why I'm so committed to training. I I think that there's a huge gap right now because I don't think people have been taught how to start a conversation. Sounds
Mm,
ridiculous. That's fundamental, isn't it? Well, it sure
yeah,
was when I grew up, but it's not that way today. And
yeah.
so I I'm excited going into 2025 because I want to train a whole bunch of people so they can grow their business and they can have a better life.
And
That's
even people lost it during COVID. Like people were maybe building relationships, and then for 2 years they were in lockdown and not talking, connecting with new people, and that really affected a lot of people.
Oh, a tremendous people. Well, those who knew how to talk stopped talking. Those who
Yeah.
didn't know had an excuse not to, and then they had an excuse not to learn. Well, okay, we're done with all that. There's no more. There's no more excuse. And it's funny. I had this in a conversation this morning. I said, I used to want to save everybody in the world. Here's what I want to save: those that want to be saved. If you want to learn how to talk to people, call me. If you want to learn how to grow authentic relationships, call me. If that doesn't resonate with you, God bless you. Go have a wonderful life. But I want to help the people who want help.
Yeah, you need to want it in order to change, to grow, right?
Yeah, I mean, I want to people who want to serve more people through presenting their offers to them. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's why people say, well, how do you you've sold millions and millions and millions of dollars of stuff. Don't you feel bad as a sales guy? I know I feel wonderful because selling is serving done the right way, right?
Mm-hmm.
All I am doing, I actually don't sell anything to anybody ever, but I do have them buy a lot from me. And the reason they buy a lot from me is because I've created an environment that benefits them to make that decision. It's
Mm-hmm.
not about me. It's about them. It's not even about my product. It's about them. It's always about them, which then leads back to the authentic relationships.
Yeah, and this is interesting because so big, my audience are mostly small business owners, but sometimes are people who work, in corporations that they are in this, part of sales teams, and
Mhm.
they'll sell for their organization, and they do a lot of presentations to their clients or even internal presentations to their leadership because they need to, present something, sell them something, an idea or a product, whatever. So what are the common mistakes professionals, make during those presentations that, maybe you can help them avoid, right? And again, it's like giving them the information in a way where like not selling them, but it's helping them to um, have that point across, right?
Well, fundamentally, everything is a sale.
Mm-hmm.
That's simple.
Agreed. Yes.
So the first part is to reframe. Now, the Webster's definition of sales is educate is uh the geez It's taking a product, good, or service and exchanging it for an amount of money or its equivalent. That's called a sale. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I've created a heart-centered selling definition, my definition, and that is education through communication without manipulation. I'm a teacher. I teach you of the features, advantages, and benefits the products, goods, and services have to offer that fulfill your needs, wants, and desires. And so if you're going to your boss and asking for more budget, that's a sale. So as opposed to fighting it, embrace it. It's a big part of what I do in my trainings is I demystify sales. Sales is not a bad word. It's everything. Everything is a sale. Have you ever been on a date? You made a sale. Have you ever put a kid to bed? You made a sale.
The kids are selling you all the time.
That's right. I said, are you married? You're better at this than you think. You
Oh,
made a
yeah.
sale, right? So the fact is, how do you on those internal situations, everything is a sale. So therefore you all you're doing is presenting information for somebody to consider. And they
Mm-hmm.
either say yes or no to that piece of information. And if they say yes, you've made the sale. If they say no, you then don't get upset about it. You just say, what additional information do you need that would make this be a yes?
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's a very relaxed process if you want it to be. Or it can
Right.
be, oh my God, I hate sales. This is the worst thing ever. The reason I've sold millions and millions of dollars from stage is because I've never tried to sell from stage. I simply give people the reasons why it would be a good decision for them to buy.
Mm-hmm.
It's their
Yeah.
choice, not mine. I can't control anything other than provide them the right information
Mm-hmm.
that helps them solve their problems. People make sales way too hard. 4 words: identify problem, provide solution. That's all it is.
Agreed. So this is taking us. So you have an ebook that you wanted to share with the audience, the 7 steps to heart-centered
Heart-centered.
selling, right?
That's
Can you
right.
tell us
Yep.
more about that book?
Oh yeah, well, it's a lot of the foundations. The reality is people don't realize there's 7 steps. And most people, first of all, they don't know it. So it's fundamental information again, so that'll be good for you. But the other thing is you'll find you'll be far more successful if you do these 7 steps and you do it in this order. And the beauty is the seventh step leads back to the first step. So all this process does is help you grow your business, satisfy more customers, make more money, put more food in your kid's belly, and do more good in the world. Other than that, it's not that important of a book.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I'm excited for people to really get access to that book because I think that it's going to be new information and insights. And as you said, it's not as difficult as it seems like. Like it's like really simple. As long as you're authentic, you have value to offer, that your product or service will help them solve a problem. And then that's it.
Yeah, well, you nailed it right there. What I do is provide value to other people. It's exactly what you do through both your podcast and your day-to-day business and being a mom. You
Mm-hmm.
provide value. That's what we're called to do. Provide value to another. It's amazing what can happen.
And it makes you feel so good.
It
That's it.
does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It,
That's what we do, what we do, right?
it is. That's why I love training. I love that flash in people's eyes when they go, "Oh my God, thank you. All I wanted to do was make enough money to send my kid to summer camp, or all I wanted to do is take my wife on a vacation, or whatever the case is." Man, it feels so, it's like I helped pay for that vacation simply
Yeah.
through the value that I provided them through the training. Man, it doesn't get much better than that.
You need to be willing to, or oh, be ready to listen to the information and then take action
Yep.
and yeah, and be ready to change and And
Well,
even like, I mean, everyone, you might have heard that information before, but maybe you say it in a way that people click with people, right? And that's where you are authentic, and that's how people relate to you.
that's actually one of the things that a lot of my testimonials and things. I had one guy say, I have seen this presentation 8 times, the eighth one being you, and for the first time I understood it, and I'm now going to take action on it. And
Yeah.
it's because people try to, they try to be this big authority and aren't I smart and aren't I suggest, and it's one of the things actually in the book that you'll get, is start at a fifth grade level. See,
Mm-hmm.
start below where the person is that you're talking to, because you can always get more technical. But
Mm-hmm.
if you start technical and you blow over the top of them, meaning they don't understand it, that
You lost it.
you've lost them. They're never coming back. And so if I, you know, would say something, I don't know, about the stock market or something, if I say, well, it's pretty basic. There's support and there's resistance. That means there's a place where people start to buy and there's a place where people start to sell. And in between, there's a great way to make money. Well, can you tell me more about that? Yeah, you can talk about channeling and now you can get into all sorts of specifics if you choose to. But the fact is, it's at the prospect's request. It's not
Mm-hmm.
because you're trying to be so dang smart, like, aren't I good? I've been selling for a long time. I know a lot of stuff, but it doesn't matter what I know. It only matters what you can consume.
Yeah, you need to listen what people need. You can't
It,
just go and talk without listening because you might be saying things that they don't care, they don't need. Yeah.
well, that's what I'm saying is, a lot of salespeople aren't I good?
Mm-hmm.
They pound their chest and like, I'm so wonderful. And it's like, you're an idiot. Just chill out, just listen to what I said. I love when somebody's, they're like 3 words into it. And somebody says, yeah, I'll take that. And they go, wait a second, I'm not done with my presentation yet. Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
The second they say I'm in, you're done.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly.
But that's what I'm saying. Those are such fundamentals that most people don't teach anymore,
Mm-hmm.
or may have never learned in the first place, right?
That's right.
Well, I was told that I have to do this script. No, they said yes, you're done.
That's it. Yeah,
The
you're
second
done.
they said yes, you're done
Yeah.
with that script
Move
just
on to the next step of
went
your
from
sales
400
process.
words to 12.
Yeah.
You're done.
Well, Scott, it's been amazing having you on the show. Thank you so much for all the insights, for all the expertise that you provided today during the call and the recording. Before we wrap up, could you please share where our listeners can learn more about you, where they can find you?
Yeah, I don't hide very well. So you can go to scottschilling.com, SCOTTSCHILLING.com. And my email is scott@scottschilling.com. So send me an email if you got any questions, if you want to say something about this, if you want to rave at what an awesome host Mariana is. I mean, do it. Send me the email and I'll send it to her. It'll make her feel good. So,
Excellent.
let's talk.
Good, good. All right. So I will put all those details in the show notes so for people can access to Scott's information. Also the ebook, the link will be there so you guys can access that online as well. Again, thank you, Scott, so much for your time today.
My pleasure.
Thank you to our listeners for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode. You learned something new about your way of doing business, your career, your authenticity in relationships and everything. And
Thank you
then
all.
you're welcome. And then for those that really enjoy this episode, please leave us notes, leave us comments. Scott would love
Share it. Come on.
to
Share
learn
it.
more about what you thought about it. And if you have any questions, then please do not forget to subscribe to this podcast so you can get more information every week on new tips and advice for your business and your career. All right. All right. Thank you, Scott. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you all. God bless.